Hi everyone, Alan at Bambers Sewing Machines. Welcome to our little podcast. It's a thing to do these days, isn't it? Anyway, I was in the workshop the other day, routing through, and I came across this old beauty, a Viking, Husqvarna Viking, the real deal, 6430. And when I started work for Dad in the 1970s, after some training, I used to go out to all the schools with the guys, Tony and Paul, and we'd service hundreds of machines. And a lot of the schools had Vikings just like this one, especially in Bolton. But we did all over Greater Manchester, all the authorities. And later, on my own, I used to go around all of Merseyside. And these machines were top quality, rock solid. And I must have serviced hundreds of them, literally. They had a floating shuttle and sintered bearings which didn't require lubrication so long as they weren't left in a damp garage for a year or two. And they had a reduction gear which was unique at the time. So the reduction gear, this one's frozen up a bit, it's that old. But there we go. You would pull it out, that's the bobbin winder, but you would pull out this piece around the bobbin winder, and using gears, step gears, it would slow down the machine, but it would retain the power, so that if you were sewing something thick or awkward, that normally you would have to maybe speed the machine up to sew through, you would lose your control. So you'd use the reduction gear to slow the machine down, but because of the gearing system, it retained the same power. So even at a slow speed, you had the power to sew through a thick coat, a thick jacket, lapel, thick trousers, whatever it might be. And they were pretty solid, pretty reliable, although I do remember changing, I don't know how many, but it was one of those parts we used to keep in stock back in those days, 1970s, 1980s. And I'm going to take this gear out so those who want to can see it, and then we'll contrast and compare with a modern sewing machine. Okay? So, I've removed the reduction gear. This frame sits around the motor, holds it in position, and you can see now how the gearing system turns round, pull it into place, brings this other gear into action, and reduces the speed of the machine, retains the power of the machine. So there is the old reduction gear. It's still in pretty good condition as well, this one. The teeth are in pretty good nick. They knew how to make machines in these days, in those days even, and it would still work. Anyway, Viking reduction gear. So, in its day, this machine was pretty much top of the range. The old Vikings like this, Dad used to sell them through the 60s and 70s, and we still get them coming in for repair and service in the workshop. And we used the old pattern cams. You'd buy a cam with a series of patterns, which were these little cams here. The cam follower in the machine would operate the needle and the feed and create these stitches. Little daisy chain there, little rounded satin stitch, staggered embroidery stitch, stretch stitch, all sorts. I remember as a boy, there used to be a board up on the wall in the Regent Road shop, Old Salford. Happy days. And on the board anyway, the old fella had made a board, lots of little pegs on, and he had all of these that people could come in who bought a Viking and buy a pattern cam for. Because the best traditions, the blower's gone. Excuse me. So, where were we? Yes. So, if you compared it to a machine today, you'd be looking at the top quality. The best machines in those days, 60s, 70s, were the Bernina, the Viking, the Elna, and the Fast. They've all gone really, apart from Bernina, in the sense that the companies that made them have gone, apart from Bernina. So I would compare something like that to a Bernina 570, which is a fabulous machine. Why haven't you got one? But the other thing is, like most modern electronic machines these days, it's got a speed control. And of course, it no longer relies, where have you gone, on gearing. It's all electronics. The motor on the Viking here is a big lump of a thing. The motors have improved dramatically on the modern machine. Much more powerful, DC motor. And the motor's controlled and regulated as well. And when you use the speed control on the 570, you can slow the machine down literally to a crawl. And you've got the same power behind the needle as if you're going flat out. So it's perfect for people that use the machine a lot. Quilters, I'm thinking, obviously, depending on what level of addict you are at quilting. The speed control on a 570, as with other machines as well, can often make your life easier when you're sewing thicker fabrics, thicker quilts, thicker wadding under compression, thicker dressmaking jobs, tasks, all sorts of light upholstery. That modern version of the old Viking reduction gear will make your life much easier. There it is. It's there.